my name's Haley, and today I'm going to be presenting the background or biography of John Dowland. So I'm just going to read this for you. Basically, just a brief history is that Dowland was a musician born in the early 1560s. Nobody knows the exact date since it was so long ago. We don't really know much about his childhood, only his professional career was really documented. So it's kind of hard to basically kind of know where he gets some of his inspiration from because we really don't have that information. But he did serve as a servant to the ambassador of the French court and received a music degree about 1588. He was a pious Roman Catholic. And that ended up driving him out of England because that was not the religion of the country at that time. And basically, back then they really didn't have separation of church and state. And basically that led him to being a lutenist in Denmark. And he was eventually dismissed on account of something. I'm not exactly sure what. And basically that led him to travel throughout Europe, and he gained a lot of new experiences there, and a lot of new ideas helped form his style, and he ended up composing about 88 lute works, and Lacrimé, which is the one we're studying, became one of the most widely known compositions around the world, and so Dowland did become one of the most widely known composers because of that. And secondly, so like I said, his style, we don't really know much about his background, so we can't really attribute his style to anything that happened in his childhood, but they can generally be classified as elaborate, enchanting, melancholy, and very serious pieces. And obviously, like I said earlier, we don't really know much else about him. But, however, taking from his music, we could maybe, since they were so just serious and kind of a sad nature, that could signify a rough upbringing, or that he had struggles in his life before he became famous or before his life was recorded. So yeah, that's basically the background and biography of John Dowland.
Information on Lacrimé Pavane. Lacrimé Pavane is John Dowland's signature piece. It was first published as an instrumental in 1596. He later added words and then named it Flow My Tears. This song was designed as a dance of the Pavane genre. Pavane is a slow, processional dance in simple, duple time, and is danced as a couple in a sedate and dignified manner. So pretentious. Pavane is sometimes spelled Padavana, which has led many historians to believe the dance originated in Padua. The Pavane gave way to the Pasamezzo in the mid-16th century. The Pasamezzo was a more energetic Italian dance. The Pavane features a falling tier motif starting on A and falling to E, and John Dowland's Lacrimé Pavane follows this example. This piece was designed to communicate grief through sad and melancholy sounds.
Musical elements: dynamics, tempo, and meter. The dynamics of this piece shifted cyclically between mezzo forte and piano, so generally speaking, it had a more moderate dynamic. These softer levels of dynamics aid in illustrating the lachrymose purpose of this piece by giving it a sort of calm disposition. This piece starts off in a slower tempo to fit this tearful theme. And it's a pavane, and it's commonly done in a duple meter, and John Dowland's Lacrimé Pavane also follows this trend. Musical elements continued. melodies. The piece utilizes light accents to aid in the contrast of lengthy ties between certain notes and the notes that follow them. Dowland focuses mostly on consonant harmony and chords while avoiding dissonance and tone clusters. This piece has mostly conjunct intervals between notes. That, coupled with the consonant harmony, gives it a theme of simplicity. Dowland's use of these elements all together show how, even within life's most bitter moments, there is great beauty and great consonance.
So today I'll be talking about performance practice elements of technique. Our first technique, we have the rescuedo style of playing. This technique is where the guitarist uses his or her top side of their fingers and the thumb on the strumming hand. This allows for rhythmically precise and more often than not a rapid strumming patterns. Its significance is it's mainly used to increase the dynamics, usually in forte of the music piece. This is where when you strum really fast, you really bring out a loud tone to whatever you're playing. We don't really see this in John Dowland's piece. We actually see a little bit more of the puntero playing. This technique is the plucking of the guitar strings. So this is actually an older and harder technique. Because of its cleaner sounding than strumming, it was more respected during the Baroque period versus the rescuedo or strumming style or technique. But it was actually becoming less abundant in the suego style of playing because strumming is actually easier, and more people were beginning to use it, even though it was more looked down upon than the plucking style. The significance of plucking is that it adds a lot of tone and color. We can see this in John Dowland's piece when he plays. You feel a lot of emotions. You feel a lot of, whenever it speeds up, you can really feel each individual note and how it's able to transfer the feelings that he's trying to basically show his audience. And then we also have figuetas technique. This is the alteration of plucking between the thumb and the index finger. We also see this within his playing. A little subcategory is the casena style, where the thumb is exposed, and then you'll see him also switch whenever he's playing a little more strings that are closer together to the Alexandra style, where the thumb is hidden behind the index finger. Its significance is it's usually used for like a melodic playing. So when he plays, you don't really hear like a strum or a bass line, You really hear a lot of these notes going up and down through this melody. And, that in its whole sense makes it a really, really powerful emotion and emotional like mover. Now I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to the conclusion.
Conclusion. In conclusion, John Dowland's Lacrymae Pavane possesses many stylistic elements that display why Dowland was such a renowned composer. From his conjunct techniques with English and foreign notes, Dowland used his brise style to compose many complex works in which shaped his life as a composer. In Lacrymae Pavane, Dowland's use of musical concepts is able to express his moody and heartfelt style without the use of words. Despite not knowing much about his background, it is quite clear that John Dowland may have been a man craving expression, as not only Lacrymae Pavane, but all of his works radiate passion, complexity, and grief, which comes together in display of the life Dowland lived before he took over the Baroque period. Group contributions. Patrick Grothaus. Musical concept slides and voice for musical concept slides. Derek DeLeon. Conclusion slide and voice of conclusion and contribution slides. Me. William Deal. Song information slides and voice for song info slides. Thomas Holbert, Performance Elements and Technique Slide and Voice for Performance Elements and Technique Slide. Haley Coulthard, Biography Slide and Voice for Biography Slide.